Hey Ummaduk YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Rams fan YT. In today's video, we will be looking at, in my opinion, who the best championship summer transfer signing you have made. Please let me know if you agree or disagree in the comment section down below. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on who you think your best player is. And let's jump straight into it with Barnsley. I'm going to go with Devante Cole. He's a player with lots of ability and has shown that he can score goals, with last season being Motherwell's top scorer with 12 goals. I'm confident that he complements their existing philosophy and style of play. He is well suited to their 3-4-3 formation, and he used to play for the Tigers in the 2014-15 season, so knows the fans. I think this is a perfect replacement for Daryl DK. For Birmingham City, I've gone with Jordan Graham. He played in a 4-2-3-1 predominantly, and he played on the side. There were occasions where he played in a 4-4-2 diamond and played just behind, but mostly it was wide out on the right-hand side. He's good if he stays out wide and as high as possible, isolating the fullback, getting to the byline, and gets balls into the box. He can whip it in from wide without beating his man, but he's got such a good turn of foot from a standing position that if he has isolated the left back, 9 times out of 10, he's going to pass him, getting to the byline and standing it up far post or whipping it in at pace. That's where a lot of joy can come from. He's willing to do the dirty side of the game. He certainly won't shirk his duties. If you're looking for an almost old-fashioned studs on the touchline winger, there are not many better about. It will certainly create chances, and with a striker which they've bought in Troy Deeney, capable of putting them away, they become assists. Blackburn Rovers, I'll go with Teo Eden. Eden's timing of a tackle is very impressive. He stays very strong in defensive duels and likes to stay on his feet when in 1v1 situations and not dive in. This is one of the reasons why he is such a good defensive duels 1 percentage at 59.8% per 90. His man marking is just as impressive and stays close to his man in defensive phases of play, constantly hassling him. His defensive positioning and understanding is also very impressive, and his awareness of the space around him is good. At 46.02%, his aerial duels 1 percentage is fairly decent for a player that is shorter than 6 foot, and this is due in part to his good jumping reach. Eden is offensively aggressive and likes to push higher up the pitch when his side is in possession, but does not neglect his defensive duties and can swiftly get back to take up an effective defensive position. He's very quick and aggressive when transitioning into defensive phases of play, using his agility, speed, and great work ethic to quickly get back into a good defensive shape. He's just as aggressive transitioning into offensive phases of play, also using his speed and desire to get forward and help his team out in attack. Eden's dribbling is very good and he looks impressive in 1v1 situations, using his speed and good ball control to get past his man. Coupled with this, his progressive runs also look good and he likes to drive up the pitch in an urgent manner when his team is in possession. His decision making is strong and he displays great knowledge and understanding of the game. He's able to read situations well and make the right choice for the team. His long passing is good and he has the ability to switch play well, quickly and efficiently, getting the ball to a teammate in space on the opposite side. His passes to the final third are also good and he attempts on average 7.02 per 90, which is promising for a side that likes to play in a more direct manner. He likes to play the ball forwards as often as possible, and this is shown by him attempting 19.25 forward passes per 90 and 12.18 progressive passes per 90. His crossing is decent. Eden is a quick player and has a great engine, which allows him to get up and down the pitch quickly and effectively. He's able to join in and play his part in attacking phases of play high up the pitch, and then swiftly get back into a good defensive shape at the other end of the pitch, or get back to make a tackle. He looks to be able to keep up this high-intensity style throughout the game, and his strength conditioning is very impressive, being able to stay strong in a 1v1 situations. His physical capabilities also make him a good option at left back, left wing back and central midfield. He is able to cover a large amount of ground both in defensive and offensive places of play. For Blackpool, I'll go with Jordan Lawrence Gabriel. He gets up and down and likes to defend. He's a defender, so he does that first and then helps out with the attacks. He likes to get stuck in as well. He will take it by the scruff of the neck and push on. His long throws are legendary, which can be useful for getting the ball in the box. His determination to win is great, with him quoted as saying, "Play every game as if it's a cup final, as you never know who's watching. This has stayed with me from the age of 7. My dad gave this speech to me, and I have never forgotten it." His natural fitness translates into agility. Bournemouth, I've gone with Ryan Christie. As much depth that Bournemouth have in their squad, they don't have an auxiliary winger, which Christie is. The goals and assists he offers them will provide a lot going forward. His passing, little runs, shooting and link-up play with his attack force is all a manager could ask for, particularly Scott Parker, who's being tasked with implementing a certain style of play at Bournemouth, which involves grounded passes and a seemingly narrow build-up. These tactics are something that Christie cherishes and suits his flair. His manner of play is similar to peak Mesut Ozil. He certainly has the potential to play in the Premier League. As far as his best position is concerned, he's more suited to playing in the hole as the advanced playmaker because of his technical prowess. But he can play in several different roles with a deep playmaker and false winger. Some of his performances in the league over the last couple of seasons and an amazing European outing against Lazio and Rennes in the Europa League shows he can perform week in, week out. Bristol City, I'll go with Rob Atkinson. I've never seen a dribbling centre-back like him. All the teams linked with him are footballing ones, and Bristol City fall into that bracket. Also able to play at left back, the defender's style corresponds with what Pearson wants. I wouldn't say he's an orthodox centre-back. He can do the ugly side, head the ball, but he likes running out with the ball. He loves dribbling. Cardiff City, I'll go with Marley Watkins. Considering he has limited minutes, his goal-to-minute ratio is very high. He needs to resurrect his career like the time he was playing at Barnsley. His determination, though, can be key to doing just that. He is injury-prone, but having determination will make him a better player after an injury. He also has good stamina. Coventry City, I'll go with Victor Gyökeres. What I was struck immediately by is his front-running qualities. Standing 6'1" and playing in a front two, he shows a good understanding with his partner, who is Waghorn in this situation, and an aggressive, small irritant of a player. From the kickoff, Gyökeres closes down quickly and in tandem with his partner, positions himself where the opposition defence could not play out comfortably, thereby constantly forcing the goalkeeper to kick long. Gyökeres is never far away from his forward partner and shows good positional sense. He is always prepared to run behind defenders who find his pace a handful. He also has a strong, easy running style and is always looking to force his way past the opposition. The Swede is well built, has a strong frame and powerful square shoulders. What impresses me most, though, is his positioning to receive on the counter when his team conceded possession. He is always on the halfway line, ready to collect the ball in the half of the field his team are defending. A perfect outlet pass is controlled under pressure on his chest, which is most impressive. His pace is forceful, stamina good, and he is right-footed. For Derby County is Sam Baldock. Effort is never issue for Baldock. He's an indirect set-piece threat due to his broad shoulders and physicality. He likes to play short passes or keep the ball, therefore retaining possession instead of wasting it. He likes to dribble the ball, meaning that he can get into good shooting opportunity, and sometimes bags it or plays through balls to another player like Ravel Morrison or Sibley. His defensive contribution is good and he likes to tackle, meaning that the defence is front and back. He is good at direct free kicks or long shots, but can also be a poacher, as shown by his first goal for the club. Fulham, I've gone with Harry Wilson. When it comes to finding a successor to Lookman, Fulham could certainly find someone with a statistical profile who's a lot more similar to him than Wilson, but in many of the attacking metrics, there is a fairly high similarity. This extends to pressing duels as well, which we know is vital in a Silvers team. In 2018-19 with Derby, there we see there was a considerable jump in Wilson's expected assists over when he was relegated with Bournemouth. Wilson only received the ball 21.93 times per 90 minutes when playing for Derby, which is surprisingly lower than the figure of 24.57 from his time at Bournemouth. Wilson has played in teams where he double pivots in midfield, have been given the job of progressing the ball forwards, and he has had a role in the final third. But there should be aspects of his ability which show up in the eye test regardless. With this in mind, his key attributes are shooting, having scored 15 goals at Derby, chance creation, agility and speed of thought. But his free kicks are the icing on his cake, and he could revitalise his career with playoff 2 promotion pushers Fulham. Huddersfield Town, I've gone with Josh Ruffles. Ruffles' championship experience is limited to just one game for Cardiff City as a teenager. He's a really likeable person, he always interviews well, and he's played nearly 300 games and had a good season last year, attacking-wise. He is absolutely a great lad. He had some amazing times with Oxford, and the numbers look very good in terms of his general goal contribution. That's the thing, it's his 1v1s in the championship. I think there was a feeling that if he'd gone up into the championship with Oxford, he'd have had a much better chance of hitting the ground running, because it's obviously a league he would be comfortable in. His pace is the other thing. He's not slow, he's not a slouch, but certainly not fast. And some people argued, oh, he's irreplaceable. Ruffles' stats are strong, and he made by far the most interceptions of any League One fullback last season, suggesting he is able to make up for his lack of steering pace with his positioning. His attacking output is very impressive, with the left-back scoring 6 and assisting 6 last season, as Oxford earned a place in the playoffs. Hull City, I'll go with Andy Cannon. Cannon was a mainstay of a Pompey side last season, having played 49 games for the club and scoring 2 goals in the process. Grant Mccann described Cannon as all action and believes he will fit in well with the dynamic he's trying to build. He'll be a decent squad option probably off a bench, perhaps as a cover for Honeyman. And he's a decent player, good at holding up the ball, definitely good enough for the championship. Hull have got themselves a player. However, he is injury prone, but when he is fit, he is a very good player. Luton Town, I'll go with Amari Bell. What a goal his first one for the club was. Described by the Barnsley admin as being tapped in. It was very well taken on his weaker foot though, and for a tap-in had an incredibly low XG of just 0.05. Aside from the goal, his key attacking attribute is his dribbling. It allows them to counter really well and also to play out from the back more with confidence, as they know he has the ability to beat a man when carrying the ball, something that Potts is severely lacking. This is reflected in his dribbling success rate, which is at 73%, considerably higher than those with similar mins and dribble rates per 90. He's also third in the team for successful attacking actions per 90 at 2.9, which is exactly what they've wanted to see from their left back stroke left wing back for quite some time. Overall, I say he's looked solid but not spectacular defensively. In the first 5 games, Luton managed to concede 8 goals, and I was interested to note that he's not committed one error that led to any of those. In quite a few of their games this season, aside from Peterborough and West Brom, they've seen comparatively little of the ball. So it's been intriguing to watch Bell without the ball. His ability to block crosses and the intensity of his press have both stood out for me. My initial evaluation is that on balance, he offers more going forward than in defence, but he's certainly not a bad defender and can use his dribbling and athleticism to get himself out of a lot of situations. He also reads the game well and currently has the 3rd highest number of interceptions in the league at 42. His ability to play as both left back and left wing back is a big bonus for him. In a very short time, he's become fairly instrumental, not only in helping define their style of play, but has also played a fairly big part when they've been in possession. He's third in terms of passes per 90 with 33.6 per 90, indicating that he's seeing a decent amount of the ball, and a lot of their build-up play is going through or involving him. Middlesbrough, I'll go with Martin Pereiro. It's interesting to see that he played in a 4-1-4-1 formation, and Pereiro would often play as the right-sided central midfielder in that midfield three. That's important because it matches a midfield setup that Neil Warnock often employed at Borough last term, or season rather. The midfielder led the league table for assists and goal contributions in the Copa Diego Maradona, with a lot of that complemented by his excellent set-piece delivery. In terms of taking the side forward, no player in Argentina's top flight completed as many dribbles of 11.09 per game, or made as many progressive runs at 4.86 per game as Pereiro. Experts report that rather than trickery and skill, however, it's in fact his athleticism that he uses in such attacking scenarios. In terms of passing into the final third, Pereiro averaged just shy of 4.5 of those per game, with an impressive 74.5% of those accurate too. Intriguing for Borough, Pereiro was noted for his ability to quickly turn defence into attack, playing defence-splitting passes, usually out wide, allowing Banfield's expressive wingmen to explode into action and hit sides on the counter. He assisted 2.57 shots for Banfield per game. That's particularly of interest to Borough, who always looked most capable of breaking sides down last season when they transitioned quickly and hit teams on the break. But much like Warnock's Borough, Banfield's success also came from a defensive solidity and disciplined formation. We know that Pereiro would not be able to abandon his defensive duties were he to become a trusted member of Warnock's midfield, unless deployed in the free-roaming number 10 role. As part of the two more advanced central midfielders, Pereiro and his midfield partner Giuliano Galoppo aggressively pressed higher up the pitch last season for Banfield. Pereiro averaged just under 6 recoveries per game, of which 53.2% were in the opposition half. He won 57.5% of his defensive duels and 54.7% of his aerial duels, and he beat his opponent to loose balls 42.9% of the time he challenged for one. Again, in all three of these key counter-pressing components. Standing at around 6 foot tall, there is an optimism for Warnock that Pereiro will handle the physical aspect of the English second tier and become a key midfielder for Borough's promotion charge. In terms of trying to describe Pereiro, it seems fair to describe him as tall, strong, athletic midfielder with energy, positivity, and a willingness to drive his side forward. Ambitious and forward-thinking, he appears quite happy to look for what's ahead of him on the pitch rather than play it safe by going backwards. Searching for tactical fluidity, Borough might not always go with a midfield three, while there may be times where he uses either Pereiro or Marcus Tavernier in that free-roaming advanced midfield role, which would mean only 2 central midfielders would be required. For Millwall, I'll go with Scott Malone. Scott is a good physical presence and is a very capable defender, plus he adds a lot going forward. He shows good football intelligence to time his forward runs, and can set up goals for his teammates and scoring them himself. His time at Fulham has been most productive for him. Always known for his dribbling skills, Malone has the ability to split defences wide open. Last season, Malone had made 2 assists and scored 5 goals in Millwall's league campaign. His defensive work included 1.8 tackles per game, and Malone made 1.1 clearances per game. Encouragingly, Malone's tackle rate is very high, and he does get involved in a few tussles, picking up 3 yellow cards last season, although that's relatively low for him. Malone's versatility can also make him an option as a left winger. For Nottingham Forest, I'll go with Ethan Horvath. Horvath is a no-nonsense keeper, this meaning that he isn't a sweeper keeper or more of a passing option. He keeps it simple and does what is asked of him. He is also a strong figure at the back, who is able to organise his back line very well. He uses communication very well and is able to get his point across to his defenders swiftly and effectively. He also likes to rush off his line very quickly. At 6'4", Horvath is an imposing figure in the net. This lanky frame also helps him when claiming crosses and free kicks. This command of an 18-yard box is a very important thing in a time when keepers are scrutinised for their every move. Horvath's size also means that he is less likely to be pushed off the ball when challenging a striker for a high ball. This strength also extends to his wrists, where he is able to stop even the most powerful shots with only one hand. While his height does keep him from being as mobile as smaller keepers, Horvath makes up for his lack of agility with an uncanny ability to read shots no matter the amount of spin or swerve on them. This is just a small part of the shot-stopping skill that Horvath possesses. Another key element that Horvath has is reflexes. His reflexes are the most impressive part of his game. This was shown in the Europa League group stage game against Ajax, where he made 2 incredible reflex saves from close range. Peterborough United are going with another goalkeeper, David Cornell. He possesses all the key attributes a keeper needs by being good at long passes with a 55.8% accuracy, which is unreal for a long pass. Furthermore, he can save close-range shots, which prevents poachers. In addition, his reflexes and shot-stopping make him an ideal backup goalkeeper. Preston North End have gone with Ali Mccann. Mccann is a 5'9", 21-year-old right-footed central midfielder with lots of potential. He is a combative player that is strong defensively, but also adept at moving the ball forward. Mccann has already represented Northern Ireland at international level and recently celebrated his first international goal. Mccann would be capable of playing as either the 6 or the 8 in central midfield. The 6 role would suit him best as he is mobile, strong defensively, but still good enough on the ball to get it moving forward. QPR, I'll go with Andre Dozel. Dozel's ability on the ball suits Warburton's style of play perfectly. He is a ball player. He loves the ball. He wants the ball. He wants to look after it. But he is also a very positive passer of the ball. He passes the ball forward a lot. Andre needs strikers that make runs for him, makes angles for him, and he will find them with his passes. Reading, I'll go with Alen Halilovic. If you were glancing upon Halilovic for the first time, you could be forgiven for thinking you were looking at a young Luka Modric doppelganger. Both possess short stature and immense quality with a football at their feet, and both even have similar playing styles. Unlike Modric, Halilovic possesses a deadly left foot that is both skillful and capable of a powerful yet accurate shots. Last season in 17 appearances, Halilovic has scored once. It is hard to forget at times that he is only 25 this year. Such is his confidence and attacking prowess when going forward that he displays no fear to his opposition numbers. Additionally, like Modric, Halilovic can play out wide as a winger, but has developed to be equally adept as attacking midfielder, so much that this may now be his main position. His ability to play a pass is good for an attacker, but his strength undoubtedly lies in his quick feet, confidence to go one-on-one, and his eye for goal. For Sheffield United, are gone with Ben Davies. A Rolls Royce at this level, Davies has played over 200 games in the English Football League and established himself as a Championship regular at Preston after turning 21 in 2017. In the 2020-21 Championship, he won 4.7 aerial duels per 90, with 53% of those won, with his overall average of the Championship being 6.4 aerial duels per 90, with 56% won. Davies does not stand out as an aerial type defender. He is slender in relative terms. At 6'1", he is tall, but again in relative terms quite average. He isn't an aerial ball winner, but he is a good defender. Positioning, the timing of both run and jump, upper body strength, and the actual execution of a header varies from instance to instance, and especially from game to game. Last Championship season, he passed 35.6 total passes per 90, with 86% accurate. 7.3 long passes per 90 at 71% accurate. 5.3 passes to the final third per 90, about 73% accurate, with an overall championship average of 38.6 total passes per 90, 84% accurate. 8.4 long passes per 90, 60% accurate, and 6.5 passes to the final third per 90 was 64% accurate. It was to this side of his game that Liverpool probably decided on signing Ben Davies. You can be sure of it. He excels as a ball player and progressor from defensive areas. He is often responsible for the first defensive phase. His goalkeeper or defensive partner often looks for him to initiate a progressive play. Time and time again, it's a case of Davies receiving the ball in his own half, accelerating, getting his head up looking for a runner, and then execute the long ball. The key to pulling off these kinds of passes is as much rooted in belief and confidence as it is in technique. Davies seems to have them all in abundance. I expect this side of Davies's game is where the Rolls-Royce idea stems from. At Preston, he didn't always have a runner. He sometimes looks for a centre-forward to win a header. Davies never hesitates to play these passes, especially in his more recent seasons, and he finds his target man more often than not. I expect if he finds himself playing and initiating attacks on the halfway line. In the 2020-21 Champions League season, he won 4.8 defensive duels per 90 with 74% won. 4.7 50-50 duels per 90, 66% won. 0.25 sliding tackles per 90 with 60% won. While overall in the Championship, he won 4.8 defensive duels per 90 with 75% won. 3.6 50-50 duels per 90 with 66% won, and 0.35 sliding tackles per 90 at 44% won. As with most centre-backs, effective defensive work comes not through committing to challenges, but through strong starting positions and good decision-making. Ben Davies is a calm defender. He is keen to stay on his feet, keen to win the ball, and then retain the ball. He isn't a burly bruiser of a centre-back. He uses long limbs to nick the ball when it arises and good positional sense to ensure he isn't beaten for pace. While he isn't necessarily a very fast defender, but he can conduct himself smartly enough to ensure that it doesn't mean he is caught out. As we saw in his aerial tools, the defensive work is generally sound, if not outstanding. He understands the fundamentals of centre-back defending, and that provides the foundation he needs. He is not a player likely to make a rash, poor decision. His starting position will likely be good, and from that platform, he is usually set to defend effectively. While he does not excel in the rudimentary defensive work, he gives a good enough account of himself for us to know he's a perfectly fine defender. While there is no strength technically, there is also no big weakness. He will fight to clear a ball, block a shot, intercept, and tackle as willingly as any other. For Stoke City, I've gone with Sam Surridge. His record speaks for himself. Hopefully, there's a lot more to come from him, though. He has been in a side that has created chances for him, but he has put them away, so he will get credit for that. He is still a young player, he is still developing, he is still growing, and as it stands at the minute, the future looks bright for him, and long may that continue. Swansea City, I've gone with Michael Obafemi. He's a really fast player and his speed is his most important quality. He is also a good finisher, and I observed that if their back four was really high, and he could have some chances. Bringing on Michael late on in games as an impact sub could be something that will help Swansea. He didn't look fazed by the stage he was on, so that bodes well as somebody who can work out. He's been playing well in the under-23s and getting goals, so he has deserved his chance. His style of play is direct, in behind, and he likes to cause defenders problems. West Bromwich Albion, I've gone with Adam Reach. In terms of ability to strike a ball so clean with accuracy, Reach is right up there in the Championship. I'm really pleased with his attitude and commitment to the team, and he has got a wand of a left foot. He is full of energy and full of running. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you are new around here. That will hugely help out my channel. So just please do that. And coming up, I've got a history of your club. We're going to be looking at the history of Watford on Monday. And then I've got the League One best transfers coming up a week today. So goodbye for now. I'm off to go and watch the Derby County match.